Hello everyone, this is DJ Sanakori, the Cyber Behike at Taino Fun House. I'd like to welcome everyone here. This is awesome that we're back together again 1 week later. This is Taino Fun House Fridays. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been talking about some history, creation stories. I've been throwing a lot of stuff out there. So I'm just going to wait a little bit so other people can connect. I want to make sure my sound is good. There's always some issues with sound. So I'm just going to have my Taino Fun House lights on until I start. Just going to wait a little bit until some people get together here. I'm going to check out my computer. Hope everyone's doing well. Really well. Today's going to be interesting. I'm going to introduce just a little bit of history, Taino history, after the 1500s, and then go into the creation stories again. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? How's it going? Just going to wait a little bit for other people to come in. Do you hear me? How's my sound? I had some issues with sound earlier. The video I was making. Can you hear me good? So I'm going to do some history from the 1500s. How's the sound? Yes, the sound is good. All right. Just getting a little organized, waiting for some people to come. This is going to sprinkle. You know, we're in a Taino Fun House. You know, we have to have it fun, you know. We have to have a little fun. A little twist here and there. Little mysteries. You know, definitely the Taino Fun House does not believe in a straight line. We believe in the circle of life. So at this time, I just want to take a few moments. We got 3 people now. We got the Sami number, Sacred 3, Yokahu. Could take a moment of silence right now. And let's just send some positive energy to those in this planet Earth, Mother Earth, that needs our energy. A lot of wars out there, a lot of destruction, a lot of, deception and so on. Maybe you lost a job today or lost a loved one or losing a loved one. Let's just focus on that and send that nice positive energy out there. And then I'll conclude with the Taino calling song. Okama, okama, atame guavansesh. Okama, okama, yokahu bagua marukoti. Taino ti, o taino ti, taino ti. Atabe Yokahu Wama. Thank you for participating in that. And just wanna waiting for it to start. Oh wow, I fell asleep last night. Hey man. 24 hours later, right? Hey, sleep is good, man. You gotta sleep well. So once again, I'd like to thank all of you for being here, taking the moment on a Friday night. Or all you future watchers, man. That's so cool. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go in a circle, back and forth. But I promise to do some history and also introduction to Taino spirituality. Oh, part 3. Oh, this is the part 3. This is my live part 3 of Taino history live. And I've been introducing some of the Taino creation stories and so on. So remember, just to summarize, less than 1 minute, 7,000 years ago, the first early migrations to the islands, including Borinquen, Quisqueya, Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba. So all these places, these migrations began around 8,000 years in the Caribbean. Awesome story. And then through the centuries, there was different shifts in culture. We call pre-Taino culture. There were five major Yucayekes in Quisqueya that we've been discussing. I haven't gone into Borinquen yet, but I will soon. I did kind of sprinkle some stuff about the War Council of 1511 in Borinquen. There was a lot more caciques in Borinquen, so we're going to break those cycles down in the future shows. But today I'm going to talk about a historical figure named Ramon Pane. If anyone ever seen any of my back shows or my radio show on Taino Radio on Spotify, I often speak of Ramon Pane in a negative way because he didn't write this text. This text that Columbus requested. It's a book that he requested, a studied book on the spirituality or the religion, in their words, of the Taino people. And one of the reasons why Columbus did this was to better learn the psychology, spirituality of the people he wanted to separate and control for money. As we know, slavery, for gold, for prestige back in Spain. So this is what Columbus did. He sanctioned a friar named of the Jerome order. His name was Ramon Pane, to sit with the caciques, sit with the Behiques, sit with the elders, and find out, how do you guys think? What's your overall spirituality, your belief system? So Ramon Pane completed this work, brought it back to Columbus. If you look at my old shows, there was a Taino, and I want to dedicate a future video on this. There was a Taino called Juan Mateo in Spanish, okay? And just want to leave it there. He was a Taino who understood Spanish. He's like one of the first Spanish learners of the Taino, in the Taino community at that time. I promise I'm going to do a video just on him. He deserves it, okay? But let's go straight to the thing. I'm going to go to the first chapter. Actually, it's the introduction of his work. And hold on a second. So this is from the book called Columbus, Ramon Pane, and the Beginnings of American Anthropology. You can get this online. I'm gonna put the links later where you can get this for free. Okay. So the very first question that Ramon Pane asked was, who is your God? How do you worship? So I'm gonna skip to the meat and potatoes. Okay. And this is the mind view, or I should say the world view of our ancestors and their relationship to God. I'm going to break it down to you, okay? They told me that in heaven there is an immortal being and that no one can see him, and that he has a mother and that he had no beginning. Now, this mother had three names. First one, Atabe, Mamona, Guaracapita, Leia, and also Suimaco. So we got a lot here. We got a lot to digest. And that simple, really short, hold on a second, and that really short storytelling, sharing of our ancestors, we're looking at a huge insight into the spirituality of our ancestors, okay? So I'm just going to break it down a little bit. We won't go too much into it, but I want you to, hold on a second. In the future, I promise to share some resources and we can break this down. And this really deserves like a Zoom class where we can break everything down. So basically, they're mentioning that there is a supreme being that's immortal, okay? And this supreme being has a mother, has no beginning, okay? And basically, that's referring to the no beginning, that refers, as scholars say, to no father. So we have a mother, we have a son, okay? Now it switches to the mom now, okay? And this mother had 5 names. Anybody has any comments about that? So we have a mother. Well, he starts out with this immortal being. Then he switches it to mom, mother, gives her 5 names, and boom, there you go. Hold on a second. Let me just look at my notes here. Any questions you have, you can write it down. Any future watchers, you can write your comments. Always, you can reach me at Taino Fun House. Yeah, Taino Fun House at gmail.com. So basically, we have a God who is male, but also has a mother, it's female. Okay, mom, son, and then you have all these names. Let me just break this down to you. Scholars in the future, our past, dissected these words, okay? So we have one word called Mamona, M-O-M-O-N-A, Mamona. One of the names, that Mamona represents the moon, all right? The power of the moon, which has been known as being feminine. And then we have Guaragapita. I'm sorry, just say Guaragapita. Guaragapita, which represents the infinite. You know, just like the infinite symbol, right? It goes on forever. That's the infinite. No beginning, no end. This is the power of the circle. And then you have Lela, L-E-L-L-A. I guess in Spanish it would say Lela. Or a lot of people say Leia. Omnipotent, all powerful. Okay? And then we have Suimako, which represents invisible energy. Okay? That moves the waters and then moves the tides. So we have a lot of water imagery here in the definition. Also, Yokahu, Bagua, Manakoti. I'm saying all this orally. I'm following the oral traditions, okay? So basically, Yokahu is the spirit of the Yuka, Juan Aron, linguist from Yale University back in the 70s. He translated this. So Yokahu represents the spirit of the Yuka, right? Substance, food. Bagua, which represents the water, okay? And Manakoti, which represents no beginning, okay? Or no father. Ramon Pane didn't write Yokahu Bagua Manakoti. He did write the 5 names of Atabe, but it was, what do you call it? Oh man, I just went blank for a minute. I'm sorry. Does anyone know what I'm going to say? Okay, so Bartolomé de las Casas. He's the one that put the word Atavera, Yokahu Bagua Manakoti, and also Peter Martyr as well. But basically, in this short text, right, in this short sentence right here, he's basically Yokahu Bagua Manakoti. Yokahu, the spirit of the Yuka, born of the ocean with no beginning. And then he has a mother. So if Yokahu's a supreme being and he has a mother, that's the powerful one. See? You gotta dissect the language, right? So she is the manifestation of the moon connected to the sun, right? And she's infinite, all-powerful, invisible energy that moves the ocean, moves the tide. So our ancestors didn't settle for one word or for one. It was that dualism, that two-spirit aspect of male and female. It makes sense because you look at creation, you have male and female. And it's just so important now more than ever how we honor people of what they identify as. You know, that's part of that two-spirit energy as well. Very sacred ground we're talking right now when you talk about the two-spirit energy, male and female together, you know. And this is how they understood God, you know, the supreme being. I don't know if anyone out there had that understanding naturally, or is something that's been with you since since you can remember that God is not just a male, but God is also female. Is that manifestation of masculine and feminine energy that we all possess. You know, and then within that, there are that power, that invisible power, that infinite power. And this you can see in the Atave circle. You know, that's why I love Iron Man. He has that symbol in the middle. You know, that light, that energy that he uses. That's the best example I like to use. That's like the center right there of the universe. Now I'm just gonna throw this out as a spirituality of that Taino way, as a Behike. I just want to share this. You know, when you talk about the oceans, you're talking about the the um the life-giving water that a baby needed in the embryo, right? To breathe, to function, nutrients and so on. It was contained in that sacred water. And then when the water breaks, birth is gonna happen really soon. So and it can be a very nervous time. So that's the oceans, you know. The oceans contain the fish, the crabs, the 100 minerals that's found in our blood veins is found in the ocean. So it makes sense that when they saw the ocean, they were thinking of the sacred water that a woman holds, which is Atave, right? The five names. So of the mother. And that gives, you know, the birth is coming. There's the waters, and we need those waters right now as children. It's almost like we're still in the embryo. If you look at it, you know. And then what the Behikes used to do, they used to go back to the caves to do their ceremonies. They actually would teach caciques from childhood to adulthood how to be a cacique in those caves. But when you go in those caves, that's going back to the celestial water. It's going back to, you know, through the vagina canal all the way down to the source that I believe is that energy, that infinite energy we can find in the center of the earth. We call it the core, right? When it's hot. Man, look at the earth and look at that central point. That's the core, right? Man, that's the Atave circle, man. Right there. Boom, boom. Very, very interesting concept. It's a universal symbol, that circle, the sacredness. So we as Taino, is very important to hold and safeguard that whole energy of male, masculine, and feminine. You put it together, and you have a tremendous power. And last week I promised that I was going to speak about the next part of the creation stories. Just summary, we started with Yaya Ed, the wife, the mother, right? The ceremony they did with the gore, the bones, the water. Again, bones, water, fish. You know, they consume the fish, nutrients. So then ritual, putting in the gore. That's still in Haiti, this is a traditional ceremony in Haiti, in Voodoo, where they put the gore on top of the bohio. Synchronicity, right? It never stopped. I mean, I should say not synchronicity. Cultural continuity in the Taino way. So basically, so let me just So it was Yaya Ed, Yaya, the wife. Then there was Itiwa Kahobaba, is the concept of a Mother Earth giving birth to 4 children. Only one she was able to name because she died. And then again, that whole life and death cycle, the circle, right? And then Deminan Caracol was took his brothers. They ate food from the gore, and then a big explode. You know, the gore broke. The oceans again, Bagua, the oceans, the sacred oceans. See, these are all sacred beings. They're not historical figures. And then they went and they met up with Bayamanako, the old man who had the secret of fire. Deminan wanted cassava, but he got something else. It almost killed him, the Guanguayo. The axe, the sacred manaya, cut the sword from Deminan's back, and out came a turtle mother. They built her a home, and there they had children. And thus came humanity. Very interesting. I don't know if the ancient alien folks know about that story, but, you know, I hear this in a lot of the other stories. They talk about, you know, the Anunnaki and, you know, the Hopi legends. They talk about this creation giving birth to us, and also the sacred beings being in relationship with us, and how dangerous that was, and so on. But this is our story I'm going to share right now. This can be found in the Cave of the Jaguar, and by Antonio Arroyo Stevens, and this is a translation of the original from the Italian to the English. The island that the Spanish call Hispaniola has a section called Caunao, in which there is a mountain called Cauta. Now, the sacred mountain had two caves, Casibahagua, translation is the cave of the Jaguar, and Amayauna, which means without importance. From Casibahagua came most of the people who inhabited the island. While still in the caves, the people kept watch at night, and they put in charge someone named or called Makokaen, he of the eyes which do not blink. When they say, now this is what they said according to the legend, he was carried off by the sun because he returned to the door late one day. So it seems like, he came late, the sun came up, he got caught right before the entrance of the cave. Since the sun had carried him off on the account of his poor vigilance, they shut the door. So they shut the entrance, no one can come in. And the reason that Makokaed stayed awake and kept watch was to see who would come in and who would come out. So he was like the caretaker, and he would send people away, so he would divide the people. Now afterwards, okay, hold on a second. Now this, according to the legend for the story, because of his delay getting back to the cave before the sun came up, it was a huge mistake. Okay? And because of his mistake, he turned into stone. I did a quick video on that with some music on Makokaed. Now, afterwards, they went out, some people from the cave went out to fish. And they were made prisoners of the sun. So they got caught by the sun as well. And they were turned into trees that we call hobos. It came to pass that one man named Wahayona, translate that into our pride, said to another named Kahubaba, translated into the ancient one, that they should go harvest a plant called digo. And they use this digo to wash their bodies and bathe in the river. Okay. Now, Kahubaba, he went out early in the morning, in the dawn, and the sun overtook him as well as he was walking down the road. And he was turned into a bird that sings in the morning, which many believe it was the nightingale. Okay, so hold on a second. Oh, I just lost it. Sorry about that. My laptop has abandoned me. Any comments out there? Any comments? Any questions? Ooh, yeah. So these stories are really cool. Now we got introduction to a really powerful character named Wahayona, one of my favorite characters. Now, Kahubaba, when he was turned into a bird, his name changed. Kahubabael, son of the ancient one. See, right now we got. Well, let me get into that. Now, when Wahayana saw that Kahubaba did not return with the digo, he decides to leave the cave called Kahibayat. Sorry. Casiba Hagua. Guys, I want to end right there. The story goes on and on, but man, we got some good insights here. I don't know if anyone caught any, and I know you did. If you want to share it, hold on a second. Let me. Whew. In the Cave of the Hagua, Dr. Arroyo Steven does a great job of comparing our stories to other stories in that, say, in the Amazon, the Arawaco people, the Andean people, Amazonian people. He compares our stories, our old traditions to theirs, and he finds tremendous links. You have to check that book out, okay? The Cave of the Hagua. Also, there's links, especially the Four Brothers, to Mexico, the Mexica people, or the indigenous people in Mexico, that when they migrated down, they brought these stories with them. So our worldview in the island was major shift. Now, did you guys catch the that whole energy related to the different aspects? There were four things stood out. I don't know if you guys caught that. Anyone? You guys want to write it down, or if you know? There were four aspects to this story. See the sacred four, the four brothers. You know, you got the four medicines that Bayamanako offered, and then you have the four things that occur in this story. Well, we have two caves, right? One we got Casiba Hagua, and then the other we have, well, let me just say the mountain was called Cauta, Cauta. Two caves, Casiba Hagua and Amayauna. Okay, I'll make sure I write these words down in the description. So it seems like Casiba Hagua is where the ancestors of the Taino lived. Then the other cave was, I guess, the other tribes, you know. And there was a position there of power in Makokael. He was probably the most trusted person, representing, well, in the story, the most trusted. That means the Taino had our ancestors had a lot of their ethics, their work ethic, their moral ethics, you know, to choose your leaders who are trustworthy. Because when we're sleeping, they have to watch. And Mako has never blinked. So this guy was a super leader, a super trusted leader, that when people slept, he was able to watch. And he kept certain dangers away. Mako Kaed. He of the eyes did not blink. So we have one insight into the Taino way, right? That these caves, this is probably during the times that they lived in caves and not in villages or yukayekes. Somebody ancient. It's amazing how these stories were passed down and passed down and passed down up to the 1500s, you know? Amazing. So Mako Kaed was turned into stone. Very important clue. How many of you out there, when you go to a beach, or when you go to a forest, you love picking up a stone, or you feel like that stone calls you, you know? Like, wow, man, you know? I love that stone. I want to bring it home. Has anyone ever had that feeling? Or anyone's ever done that? You know, like the stones, they speak to you. Famous medicine man, Frank Fuscro, he used to pick up a stone when he was talking with children, and he would put the stone in his ear and listen to the stories of the stone, and then he'll tell the stories to the children, and the children will be like, hey, that stone talks? He says, oh, it contains many years of stories. It sees everything, the stone, you know. They're people too. Our ancestors value the stone people. You find it in a lot of the spiritual traditions and different traditional tribes here in North America, South America. The stone people, very powerful, very powerful. Again, stones that represent those minerals that's contained in our blood cells, those minerals that keeps us alive. 100 of them, right? And these stones contain minerals, very powerful. So Mako Kaed represents the stone people. But it seems like the sun is very powerful. Guey, Guey, very powerful. and it seems like that sun was punishing. So probably in the ancient world, the heat of the sun, it probably, I guess sometimes they felt like maybe it was a punishment. What do you guys have to think about that? I know when I'm there, when I take a shower, 10 seconds later I'm sweating because it's so hot in the Caribbean. So he turns into stone because he failed to keep watch. It was a mistake. But there's a transformation, you see? When we make mistakes, we transform. Okay, we transform. Hopefully, you will learn from the lesson, right? You will transform. And this is what happened to Mako Kaeda, the transformation. And I can't think of the word I'm thinking of right now. Oh, the shapeshifter, right? Like shapeshifting, Very interesting. That's the first thing I thought of when I read these stories. Wow, they shapeshifted. And then we have that others, seems like in the plural, others left the cave, hungry, just like Deminon's brothers, and then went to fish. Again, fish. Very important. That's an insight into our living, physical world, and also the spiritual world. Fish, substance, okay, protein, right? So they went out to fish. They probably knew what was going to happen with the sun. That's my theory, because they already saw Mako Kaed get turned into zone. But they needed food. They needed to eat, and the sun caught them, right? They were made prisoners, and they were turned into these trees called hobo. So here's an introduction to the power of the sun converting humans into trees. So there's the power of your plant medicine. And I don't know about you, I had hobos. Hobo is a great fruit that has these little spikes inside after you eat, poking your tongue. But those hobos were humans. See that shape shifting, that whole conversion from humans to the plant world. So they're alive. The plants are alive and well. They speak to us. They nourish us, right? So we got stones, we got plants. And what else do we have? Now we got a character called Kahubaba. And Kahubaba, he was in charge of getting some plants, the digo, so they can bathe. And he turns into a bird. Because he was caught by the sun as well. And then with him, compared to the others, it was a little different. His name changed from the Ancient One to the son of the Ancient One. So it sounds like there's some lineage there between father and son, elder to offspring. There seems to be this importance of lineage, of passing down traditions. These are some clues there. And he turns into a bird. And check this out. Now you're talking about the animal world. Okay? And you notice this shape-shifting occurs. The stone, the trees, right? The birds, and so on. So, hold on a second. Then you got the sun instigating all this, right? Hold on a second. And then we have the fourth sacred medicine in this story. That's right. Humans. We're part of that chain of the sacred. So we got 4 living beings that are sacred. Stone people. Tree people or plants, right? Then we got the stone people. And we got us human beings. So it seems like there is an equality between these beings. Mineral world, plant world, animal world, and boom, and us. I think I mixed it up before. But that's it, man. We're part of this. We're not number 1. We're 1 of 4. Very important to understand this. This is a shift that the Christians had no clue about this. That we are part of creation. And we don't, what the Spanish try to do, we don't invade and destroy, control. That's not our ways. Our ways is to be in unity. So we can use one another to survive, right? So, awesome insights into this the sacred text of the Taino. Hold on a second. Just wanna. So I just want to conclude that it's very important to understand the history that was written down, history. But I believe when you look at these creation stories, right, you're looking at her story, where mom takes center stage, gives birth to a son who's of the ocean, has no father, which is interesting, no beginning. Oh, you can interpret as no beginning, no end, and boom, you have this creation story, and then we're introduced to Yaya, the supreme being, the supreme order. The cacique represents order, stability, keeps the people together, and that's the Yaya. And his wife was pivotal in the ceremonial aspect of the gore, hanging it up. She put it down. You know, it's like her role was, ritual, um, sacred ritual. And then you have creation. We have, the stone people, the Makokaed. Then we have the plant people, and the trees, the hobos. Then we have the birds, the animal people, and then we have us. This is what creation offered us, and still does. And we're social beings as human beings, I don't know about you. I love those stones. I love going into the ocean. It's like going back to the source, right? And I love the Caribbean Sea, man. It's nice and warm. And our ancestors, man, they knew all this. They had this insight. They saw nature, and they saw God. They saw Atabe as the ponds, the still waters. They saw pregnancy in Atabe, birth. But Atabe also had that menstrual cycle as well, death. And that's where you have Wawan Sesh, the hurricane that comes and destroys everything, but it purifies as well. So our ancestors had this dualistic understanding of the creation story of God, male, female, life, death. Atabe, Wawan Sesh. Man, we can go on to the other ones. That's going to be the next show on the semis. Many of you know about this. You read about this, and I encourage you to write in any questions and so on. So, very important. Read your history books, but do not, I repeat, do not make your final decision on people who are not Taino. Now, they're experts, they're anthropologists, they're linguists. We need them all. But when it comes to identity, only you can look in that mirror and say, this is who I am. And then once you make that decision, you're going to, just like Wahayona, you need one another. You need that support, okay? Because it's your people that tells you who you are. It's not the historians, not the anthropologists. It's you and your people. They tell you who you are. So, very, very, I'm sorry you're pointing. Nah, I take it back, man. It's kind of like the American way, right? Let me tell you something. It's actually a wrestling. Where's Taino Sagrado? Where is he? Hey, Taino Sagrado around? Hold on a second. Taino Sagrado, you have something to say? You want to say something? Oh, he's not around today. Oh, he's hiding out. But listen, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight, man. It was a wonderful opportunity. I can feel your energies. And let's see if we can conclude the prayer, man. Let's talk about the mother and the son. Atavera. Then you got Yokahu. In the Taino the Taino calling song, Okama means listen, listen. Listen to me. Who's listening to me? The mother, the son. And Taino Ti means God be with me. God be with you. That blessing that the mother and son is offering. And then I repeat their names again. Atave, Sulimako. So let's end today with, again, that prayer. Wo kama o kama atabe wabasesh. Wo kama yokahu bagwa mano kodi. Taino ti o taino ti taino ti atabe yokahu wama watabe suimako mamuna kapita yokahu wama. May God be with you all. Bo Guatucan, Taino T. Blessings to you all. Peace out.